Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakhakwadash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders here, great millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So with this one, we're going to talk about one of the sins of the flesh, the lustful sins of the flesh, which is to commit the act of adultery, which is when a man lays down with a woman who belongs to another man. And likewise, the woman who is already with another man, she goes and sleep with another man as well. And I'm basically going to play two clips. So the point of the matter is it's just going to be understanding why certain things that's so popular in this world, especially in our culture, is mainly because it's the sinfulness of the flesh. The flesh lusts and the flesh loves to commit such a thing. And that's why adultery is so rampant. So I'm going to play two clips. This first, we're back here with AC. Now, this woman here is she's an adulteress. She's a complete airhead. Don't mind anything she says. I was listening to a little bit of it, and it was just one part that she made that I want to acknowledge. And she's basically talking about how fun it is to do what it is that she's doing. Now, she's an adulterer. Her husband is an adulterer. Her husband's a cuck, as you would say, or he's a thug. You know, he doesn't have understanding either, because apparently he's okay with doing all this. But like I said, she's going to make a point. She's going to talk about how fun it is. And that's the point we're going to build off of, to just show you that when you don't have this truth and you're just led by the lust of the flesh, it's going to cause you to do the things that the flesh enjoys to do, which in the end can just lead you to destruction.
This is it right here. You know, let's just get to it. Let's just get to it. I was going to say something. Let's just get to it.
My husband is
Hold on.
and I cheat on my husband. My husband is deployed, and we feel that an open relationship is what works for us.
When has it been, cool to tell your business while you putting on putting on makeup? When has this become cool? Seems like this is the thing, the norm now, right? Very annoying to watch.
I know y'all are so quick to judge, but what works for us works for us. But if we're being honest, how can you judge when you don't even have a man? I feel like you should worry more about what you have going on and getting a man to even cheat on before you worry about me and my husband and our arrangement.
That's crazy. Throwing shots at... Just throwing shots at other women who aren't married. But you out here cheating on you. Let's go.
To cheat, they do have to be approved by my husband. The current affair I am having is with my neighbor, and it all started when he helped me bring the groceries in the house. When this affair initially started, I didn't tell my husband yet, but when I ran it by him, I'm glad that he approved. To assure I don't catch feelings, I still go on dates with other men. If I decide that I like one enough, neighbor is kicked to the curb. The neighbor is not aware of me and my husband's agreement, because I honestly just feel like what goes on in a marriage is between the couple. And if we're being honest, it probably wouldn't be as fun if he knew. So as I said earlier,
that's all we're going to address there. Okay, like I said, don't worry about anything. She's going to be gone. She's going to be destroyed. Don't worry about anything. You can have a whole case study on just the little things she just said. But she, like I said, she's an airhead, because later in the video, she does another video which she's covering, where she's saying how she broke up with him and because he was with another woman. Forget about it. He went and made another baby. So now she broke up with him because she's mad. We ain't gonna worry about that. But that point that she made when she said she was being honest, when she said that it wouldn't be fun if the neighbor actually knew the arrangement. That's what we're going to deal with. And the reason she said that is because the sinfulness of the flesh, the reason why adultery is so popular is because, or I'll say adultery happens so much, is because that there's a thrill in, you could say, walking on the edge. You know, the flesh gets a kick out of doing that which is evil, which is wrong. And this is why we're going to primarily deal with Paul said. Then I'm going to play another clip. A brother has shared this with Michael Blackson. This is Romans chapter 7. It says, verse 7, it says, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yahweh forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the laws had said, thou shalt not covet. Right. So what Paul is explaining here is that this flesh that we're in, this sinful flesh, desires and gets a kick out of doing that which is wrong. And if you let your flesh lead you, then it's going to lead you to sin, which can lead you to death. So once you read or understand in the scriptures that it's against the law of the Heavenly Father to covet, now the flesh desires to lust, and not just to lust, but it's primarily to lust after another. Right? He goes on and says, but sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. Right. Now, if you look up that word occasion in the Greek, aphorme, it says a place from which a movement or attack is made, a base of operations. Metaphorically, that by which endeavor is excited and from which it goes forth. B, it says the resources we avail ourselves of in attempting or performing anything. Right. So what sin is doing, when he says he's taking the occasion, it says he's taking the opportunity to endeavor or to try to bring forth in attempting into doing something. So once the law says, you know, thou shalt not covet, now the flesh has a desire to cause you to lust, and primarily after another person's, another man's, etc. That's why it said, read again, it says, but sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. Right. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. And the commandment, which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Right? Because what sin is going to do, the sinful flesh is going to cause you, or desire to cause you to do that which is not right. Now, deep down amongst our people, they know that going after another man's wife or sleeping with another man's wife or messing around with her is wrong. But there's the thrill and the sinfulness of the flesh to indulge in those things. There's a rush out of it. And the truth of the matter is, to know is true, is that if let's say you hear about adultery that goes on in the camps, right? If it actually happened where it was found out and it was okay, such as like, okay, well, look, how about this? You can have my wife and now y'all together, such and such. It's no longer those two people, chances are no longer going to be interested in each other. The thrill was only there simply because they know that what they were doing was wrong. That's it. That's why that woman said the same thing. She said, I ain't even telling him because, first of all, she didn't tell her husband till after the fact. And then she said, I'm going to withhold it from that guy. Why is that? Because there's a thrill in that. The flesh is exciting. And like she said, if she actually knew, so if everybody in the room knew the arrangement, then the thrill is gone. She's no longer interested. That's the sinful the sinful nature of the flesh. And That's why, okay, let's play this clip from Michael Blackson, right? He's saying pretty much the same thing, but with an NBA player, which was a friend of his, going after his wife, apparently.
He was like in her DM, and then like but what he tried to use, because she's a real estate agent, and he tried to use that as like trying to buy a house and trying to to make a commission, whatever, and he was using that as a way to communicate with her, which I don't mind. I want her to make money, what I mean, but like that led to like him trying to be flirtatious and trying to get at her, and then she's like, "Ain't you Mike's friend?" And he's like, "Oh, we ain't that real." She said, what she said? She said he said that we ain't friends like that. Yes, I lost our respect for him. I light his ass up.
You and Ben Simmons, y'all wasn't, just cordial, right? Y'all was actually friends, right?
Yeah, yes. The thing I met when he was a rookie, when he first got to my city, and we hung out plenty of time. I would like fly out to we playing Utah. I fly out to Utah to see a game, and then and like we all-star, we hung out. We went to Eagles games together. This was my homie. He was.
Yeah, that's messed up, man. So y'all was really friends, and he was trying to get at your girl behind your back. Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
And the thing about it, I could see. Here's my thing. I could see if he didn't know it was my girl, but I introduced this nigga to my girl, so I could see if he didn't know. But I knew he knew because I introduced you to her, and then she reminded him. Because she was like, when she saw him, she was like, Mike, I think he was in my DM. I'm like, you tripping. You know what I mean? He ain't worm. And then he went and did it again. And that's why I knew, okay, this nigga's trying to do too much.
And he's talking about an NBA player by the name of Ben Simmons. Right, Ben Simmons. So, again, that goes into the nature of the sinful flesh, and which, let's read. This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 17, right? It says, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." We got to remember that. So that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Both ways, right? Because Paul's going to explain that. Because the flesh desires you to do that which is wrong, but your spirit, your conscience will check that and cause you to go the other way or refrain from you to do that. So you wouldn't do what you would have just done. And vice versa. There's times where your flesh might overcome. And instead of you doing that, which is what you're supposed to be doing, you might end up doing that which you're not supposed to be doing. So it's a battle. All right. Now, those who don't have any discipline and give themselves over into the flesh causes them to commit these things, which is, it goes on to explain, verse 18. "But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest." So let's see what the flesh desires, and let's see ultimately what the flesh brings forth. If you just give in to all your impulses, you don't live by any rules, you don't live by any laws, any structure, you don't have any morals, you just going with whatever your mind tells you, your heart tells you. It says, which are these? Adultery, number one. Okay, it says fornication, which is the same, as well as spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery, shall I say. Uncleanliness, lasciviousness. Yeah, like dealing with that fornication, right? Why is idolatry so big in Israel? Because they know that is wrong. Worshipping the Queen of Heaven spirit, such as worshiping a woman, there's a thrill behind that. There's a lust behind that. Worshipping an idol made with hands, deep down they know those idols are false, and they know that they had to form those idols to give the idols a leg to stand on and a face, right? These are those things. But there's a desire to do those things because the flesh, right, wants to do that which isn't right. They know damn well that a woman is not supposed to be worshipped. And I mean like deep down, right? But because it's the opposite of what's right, there's a desire to do that. And that's why you have a lot of simps in Israel. It goes on: uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. Right? So you can't give in to the lust of the flesh, because as you can see, all of these things bring forth destruction, bring forth death, are considered negative. There's nothing positive out of any of those things. But that's what the flesh will bring forth. It also says in Proverbs 19, verse 17, it says, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Yeah, true. Stolen waters are sweet. It tastes so much better knowing that what? You stole it. Right? You just did something that you weren't supposed to be doing. There's a rush behind it. You know, like women like to, the reason women really want to sleep with multiple men is because they give in easily to that desire of, you know, being naughty, of doing something they know they're not supposed to be doing, right? You know, experiencing the dark side. There's a thrill in it. There's a lust in that, you know, like I like to mention, like, just like, I mean, sure, it's a show, but it's a movie, but it's truth to it. Like The Lion King, when Mufasa told his son Simba all the whole kingdom that was his, but he told him, just accept that dark area, that little dark area. Don't go over there, but all this kingdom is yours, but just stay away from that dark area. Now all of a sudden there was a desire to wander into the dark area. He was more concerned about that area right there. That's the same with the flesh, you know? So it says stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Yeah, it tastes much better knowing that what? It was stolen. You know, balls deep into another man's woman feel much better than you going to get your own woman, right? It's much better with another man, right? There's more of an enjoyment, right? Because you sneaking behind people's back, you creeping in and creeping out. That's where that fun comes in. You see, that's the sinfulness of the flesh. But it says, but he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So in the end, it's going to lead you to destruction. It's evil. That's why, and it's a part of, you could say, hip hop culture. Everything that everybody that sings or whatever, the thrill, the lust behind it is always adultery or doing something negative. You know, every rap is always, you know, every lyric is, you know, got your girl in my car and I'll take your girl. It's always your girl. It's never, I found a woman, I got my girl with me, and just bigging up your own woman. No, it's took your girl, you know, because that sounds more cool to say I took your woman instead of you got a woman. Like that NBA player, that man got all kind of women at his feet. But that's not exciting. What's exciting was trying to make a move on his friend's girl, because the flesh knows that that's not right. And you got all these women to pick from. The spirit should tell him, man, I can get any woman I want. But to him, that wouldn't be exciting. That's not a thrill. The thrill is getting with another man's wife, right? Doing that which is wrong, and then having the luxury of taking another man's wife to say that you took another man, that you see. But if she was single, he wouldn't be interested, because he got other women single. He could have any other woman he wanted, but he wanted that one. Just like that woman said, it wouldn't be as fun if they actually knew. So you could technically say doing the right thing to the sinful flesh is boring. Doing the wrong thing, right? Just stealing and just escaping, right, by the skin of your teeth, having multiple men over, you sneaking in another man's, dealing with another man's wife, and then you happen to creep out just at the end before the man comes. That excitement, like I said, it's all about the music. It's all in the music, right? What's love got to do with it? Your man, he can lay it down, but I'm gonna beat it up, and I'm gonna beat it up, and when I'm done, I'll send it back to you. That's the type of shit. That's what you hear all day in the music, and I'm telling you, the rappers and them, they don't even know why they're doing it. They just said, well, it sounds cool, right? But it said what? It said, but he knoweth not that the dead are there, and her guests are in the depths of hell. They have no idea that what they're saying is death and that is evil, and they completely lack understanding. That's the sinfulness of the flesh. That's all the songs. You know, what's love got to do with it? Okay, you got a man, but what they got to do with me? This is how backwards these rappers are. Well, you got a man, but what they got to do with me? You better come while you can. Oh, I took your girl. You better not come to the club with your girl. You come to the club with your girl's leaving with me. That I know for sure, right? It's always got to be another man's woman, because that the flesh desires to go against that which is right. You can't get the single woman. No, you can't get the woman that came in there by herself, ready to mingle. No, you got to get the woman who's with a man, and you got to lock eyes with her, and y'all playing a little look game, and oh, he don't know, and I'm about to come in there, and he don't know. You know, that they make songs out of it. That's the lust of the flesh. But our people just don't get it. Okay, but Paul's explaining it. He goes on in Romans chapter 7, verse 11. It says, for sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me and slew it by me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, and just, and good. Was then that which is good made death unto me? Yahweh forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. Right? So the sinfulness of the flesh, the lust of the flesh, is going to use the law against you to cause you to do that which isn't right, because it's against what's right. You know? It goes on. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. Because he goes back to the war against another. The law is spiritual, the laws was right, but the flesh is carnal. So you have to keep yourself under your body, and you have to quote the scriptures in your mind, and you have to check yourself, because you could easily be led the wrong path. And that's why our people in the world are just giving in to their lust, because they don't know any better, and they're just going with what they hear on the music, what they hear on the TV, and they're going off of those dopamine hits, the lust of the flesh of sleeping around with the man's woman. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. You got men sleeping around with their best man woman. But let that man actually know, and let's just say, okay, look, you can have her. He don't want it no more. There's not a thrill in that anymore, because the thrill was knowing that they did it in secret. And unless the world knows that you took this man's woman, you know what I'm saying? And that's why they get into it. Like, you got Floyd Mayweather, Nelly, you got all these rappers and celebrities, they all sharing the same women. How is that? It's because there's a thrill. Ooh, I know that's such and such girl, I'm gonna take it. And you know, and now we having fun. That's the flesh. You understand? Because if these guys had any understanding, they can go ship 10 virgins over from another island, and they'll be the most loyal women to them, period. But they don't want that. That's boring, because they're led by the flesh, and the flesh desires to commit adultery, and to make it exciting by messing around with other people's property. Goes on, verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Right, because you're acknowledging the law is right. The law is right. It says, now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Right, because you're acknowledging, I acknowledge that the commandment of the Lord is correct, but because I'm in this sinful flesh, the times that I do go off, Lord forbid, you know, that act of adultery, you know, because that's you know, that's a heavy sin. I'm talking about actively knowing that the woman is married and you both know what you're doing, etc. That's why you got to inquire, because a woman like that can ensnare you. You don't inquire, the next thing you know, you find out she got a husband. That's why you got to inquire. These women are sinful. They don't care, you know. But at the times you do slip up and do something that's wrong, And you know, like, okay, that's just the flesh in me. You know, I shouldn't be even thinking about, say, this woman. I know I'm not. The only reason I'm thinking about her is because, most likely because I know she has a man, and there's some type of enjoyment of that. So I just need to take my eyes off. Be concerned. Don't be concerned about that. Right. Be concerned about something else. That's you warring against the flesh. It says, now, if I do that I would not, it is no more that I to do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of Yahweh after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Yahweh through Yahweh Shah Mashiach our Lord. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of Yahweh, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So what he's saying is the water Yahweh Shem Yahshai, that no longer the flesh that causes us to sin is held against us. You know, Book of Psalms says, 32 says, blessed is he whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity. Imputeth means to count. So if the Lord does not count your stumblings against you, then you're perfect in his eyes, which means you're going to be delivered. Because of this condition that we're in, the Lord is great enough to overlook our stumbles and not have it count against us because he understands our frame. But that does not give us license to just willfully give into it. That's where the Christians got it all backwards. It still requires discipline, right? And really the conscience regret, that's what repenting is, the conscious regret and acknowledgement of slipping up, because then that's of the spirit. And there was one more with King Solomon, as he explained, he used a woman to explain the alluringness of other doctrines, and he used like a woman, right? And this is exactly why idolatry is so heavy, because it's that nature of knowing, like, ooh, yeah, we're diving into some, evil. We doing it in secret. Why you think when you read the scriptures, our people did what? During the day is praise Yahweh, but at night it's idolatry, is eating the bottom of fools, is doing it at night in secret because there's a thrill behind it. There's an excitement. So as he says in Proverbs 7, to marry wisdom, right? Therefore, the other woman, the alluring woman, he acknowledges as like a harlot, won't have power over you. As Proverbs 7, verse 4 says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me this day, I have paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, and fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us fulfill our love unto the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey. You see? So knowing that that's another man's woman, and like we're using this in a physical sense, right? The alluring, if you don't have understanding, your flesh will cause you to dive into that, to be allured into that. It goes on, it says, he hath taken a bag of money with him, and he will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield, and with the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter. Again, like we just read, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant, but they knoweth not that the dead are there. Okay. It says, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, and it's game over. Okay, if you get hit in the liver, that's basically you're going down. Okay, it says till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. So that's where ultimately that's where the lust of sin can lead you. There's an alluring, lustful spirit. There's an alluring, lustful nature that causes you to do that which is against that which is right, against the law of the Heavenly Father, to dive into that. And the reason is lusted after, the reason is sought after, is because the flesh seeks to do that which is against the law of the Heavenly Father. And there's a thrill and some, you could call it excitement behind it. And this is why you see what happens going on today. This is why you hear how common it is just for them to make a song. Every song or rap is always about taking another man's woman. I effed your baby mama. All those things. It's always, it's not cool. It's not exciting. It's not really something unless I'm getting another man's woman. Your girl likes me. It can't just be your girl. Can't just talk about a girl you got. It's got to be that your girl said this to me. You know, she with you, but she want me. You know, taking another man's, coveting after another man's, putting that in music, actually acting the act. They don't understand why that's so popular or why that's such a thrill to them. It's because of the lust of the flesh. You see? So that's the point, you know, get you to understanding as of what really drives our people to do what they do. You know, it's to them, it's because it's fun, but they don't know that the lust of the flesh literally brings nothing but death. And that's why the spirit yields life. So if we go back to that, we read about what the flesh brings forth, but let's read about what the spirit brings forth. Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, and love is keeping the commandments. So you're not going to wrong your neighbor by wronging him, or such as like committing adultery, especially knowingly. It says, but the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Right? And they that are of the Lord's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Right? Let's look up that word affections. There's an affection behind going against the law. Greek word pathema. That which one suffered or has suffered. A suffering. Right? So it's a suffering. And they that which are the Lord's have crucified the flesh with the sufferings, basically, and lusts, right? Because the sufferings was the cost of your deal. You know, getting put to death, fighting, stabbed up, you know, catching something that you can't get rid of. You know what I'm saying? It says, if we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, or envying one another. So the spirit triumphs the flesh. And this is why, to get the spirit, you have to come back to the scriptures and ask the Lord to cleanse your mind and try to walk to that which is right in the best of your ability, so that you could put the flesh in subjection. Because the goal is to be spotless before the Lord upon his coming. And, you know, we can no longer indulge ourselves in the things we used to do in this world, because we did them in ignorance. And now we know why we did it. And we did it because the flesh will drive us to it, because it wants to bring us really to the grave. You see? So the goal is to come back to the understanding, to reap and yield of the spirit. And that, as you can see, brings forth good things to both us and ourselves. That's what makes us holy. And the goal is to seek salvation of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. With that, I hope it was edifying. I say shalom.